Yep.
Well.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I want to talk about the discussion paper that was released in September about the proposed changes to the curfew at Essendon Airport. So can you tell us what precipitated these proposed changes?
Senator, there'd been both representations from Essendon Airport, and we'd also been separately looking at the way in which we administered curfews within the department. So, but I might turn to my colleague, Mr Phillips, if he's got anything to add.
Yeah, thank you. Lachlan Phillips, Acting General Manager, Aviation Environment. Look, there were a number of factors looking at this. One, there was some demand expressed by Essendon Airport. We were looking to promote some market competition during non-curfew hours between both Essendon and Melbourne Airport, and also to encourage the use of more modern and quieter aircraft.
And was there support for them, or did the proposals come from the jet operators themselves, or was it just the airport?
I think, Senator, that the airport had been discussing with operators at the airport, but the actual proposals came from Essendon Airport management.
I mean, it seems that they're pretty squarely designed to benefit the jet operators. You'd agree with that?
Well, no, Senator. I think some of the options that have also been included, so for example, removing the non-emergency helicopters and propeller-driven aircraft from operating during the curfew is actually something that would assist the amenity of the community around the airport.
But allowing, on the other hand, then allowing jet aircraft to land during the curfew. So, swings and roundabouts.
That's right, Senator.
So the community had just a few weeks to respond to these proposals. How long was the consultation period?
The consultation paper went out, I think, on the 11th of September, and we had submissions through until the 10th of October, but we have had some subsequent meetings with the community following the end of that consultation period.
And if I could just add, Senator, we did, in fact, the Minister announced an extension of that submission period through the 24th till tomorrow.
Okay, till tomorrow. Good. So depending, and when is it proposed that the changes should be introduced if there's a decision to go ahead?
Oh, Senator, we'll take into account the responses that have been received on the consultation paper and then provide advice to the Minister, and then it'll be up to the Minister's discretion in terms of what changes, if any, are made and what the timing of those would be.
Okay. Is there intended to be any interaction with the ATSB's investigation of the February crash incident, given that that's due in April 2018? Are the two being looked at together?
We wouldn't see the two as being linked, Senator.
So, no, even though it's going to have, potential interactions, given the volumes of flights, the types of flights, the different times of flights?
I think as a matter of a general practice, we would always consult with all the agencies. So we'd talk to CASA and Air Services and the ATSB as part of a final decision-making process. Okay.
With reference to the proposals to lift the permitted weight limit for jet aircraft to 55,000 kilograms during non-curfew hours, and to allow jet aircraft which meet strict noise criteria to land during the curfew hours, I've had lots of local residents very, very concerned about these because they feel the curfew is essential to their sleep. Given those two changes, would you agree that these changes will result in more noise at night for local residents?
Senator, I think certainly with the non-curfew hours, limits would actually allow the newer, quieter business jets to operate. And in terms of the operations during the curfew, that it is consistent with what happens at the other curfewed airports. In fact, it's actually more stringent requirements that we'd be talking about at Essendon Airport. But yes, Senator, I understand what you're saying in terms of.
So you would agree that it will result in more noise at night for local residents?
But we're forced to do a couple of things here. Could I just have the floor for a moment? Dr. Kennedy will now release CASA, Civil Aviation Authority, and Western Sydney Unit. So there's no confusion. CASA, Civil Aviation Authority, and the Western Sydney Unit. and I'll put you on notice that we're probably going to have to go for a spillover day for the agencies that we've let go, and they'll probably be accompanied by some from tomorrow, I suspect. Senator Rice, what we're going to do is do this in circuits now, because we're running out of time and everyone needs a crack. So you've got till the hour, Senator Rice, and then, but
2 minutes past, I think, and you've just interrupted me for
well,
a minute
hold
as
on.
well.
No, but with respect, I'm going to manage this now because it's not fair for people to sit and miss their opportunity. So we're going to go around in 10-minute blocks, and we'll be back to you, Senator Rice. So you got to the hour.
Chair, so CASA has been
CASA, we got no prospect, Senator, of getting to CASA. None. We're 4.5 hours behind our schedule. Senator Rice, you have the floor.
Okay. So, confirming that it will be noisier for residents at night under these proposed changes.
There will be new jet aircraft operating during the curfew, but Mr Phillips?
Yeah, if I could just clarify that the replacement of new modern jet aircraft at a stricter noise standard could actually reduce some levels compared to some of the propeller aircraft that are operating at the moment. So it's not actually a like-for-like replacement with the propeller versus the jet aircraft.
So what's for the propellers? So currently you've got non-emergency helicopters and propeller-driven aircraft can operate during the curfew. What's the noise limit? What are they? How noisy are they?
Some of those aircraft might be operating up to 95 decibels.
But the jets landing at night, even you are going to allow planes
90.
up to 90 decibels
Yes.
to land at night.
Yes.
And presumably there will be more of them than what there are the propeller-driven aircraft that are currently landing during the curfew hours.
Not necessarily, Senator.
But once you haven't got a curfew, and if you've got these jets that are clearly interested in landing, I mean, what numbers of the landings from the helicopters, non-emergency helicopters and non-propeller and propeller aircraft do you currently have landing?
We'd be happy to take that on notice, but we don't have it with me,
All right.
Senator.
So you say that 90 decibels is the limit, but I understand that a vacuum cleaner is only 70 decibels, so it's louder than that. So basically you are saying that it's louder than somebody sort of suddenly deciding to run a vacuum cleaner in the middle of your bedroom at night. How is that considered to be a reasonable proposition for residents?
Senator, the noise certification is effectively a worst case scenario, that this noise level is measured with full flaps in operation and landing and full reverse thrust. So it's the noisiest possible landing. The average landing with these aircraft is around 10 decibels lower than what's that, and that's a volume measured at 120 metres or some precise number of feet.
So it's 120 metres, so you're saying it may be only 80 decibels, 120 metres from where it lands.
Yes.
Right. So where are the noise monitors that are currently in place at the moment?
I'm sorry, I have to...
They have to take that on notice, Senator.
Okay, and so the measurement of that 90 decibels will be at 120 metres from where they land. Will there be noise monitors in place at that?
We'll take that on notice, Senator, what the noise measurement arrangements will be.
With regard to the change to the helicopters and propeller craft during the curfew, you're saying that there's not necessarily going to be more of the private jets than theirs. The discussion paper actually notes that there's very little demand for those movements at the moment. So I can't understand why you were saying that there's likely to be not much change in terms of actual movements.
There's not actually a great demand for the types of jets that we're talking to operate into Essendon here. They have, I think, a fleet of some 44 operating out of Essendon Airport. So it's not a large volume of jets.
But it's the comparison. It's the comparison between the two. So I mean, it just seems to me that where did the proposal come from in terms of that second one? It seems just like a sweetener to make it seem reasonable to allow private jets to operate during the curfew.
That's the last question, Senator Rice.
I think,
Please answer.
Just in terms of the why, it will provide those limited number of jet operators more flexibility than they have at the moment, but we don't expect there to be a significant number of them actually taking up the option. It is I mean, it's between 11 and 6, so there's not a strong demand at those times. But as I said, we'd be very happy to take on.
What's been put to me.
Send to Xenophon. Do you have the call?
I'll try and do this